Centuries later, in the quiet corners of the West Blue, a single tree stood as a monument to resistance, the Tree of Knowledge in O'Hara, towering high enough to rival the spires of Maria Joie. Its roots sank deeper than history. Entwining with truths long buried within its vast trunk lay the greatest collection of knowledge in the world. Scholars there didn't seek wealth or fame. They sought the forgotten, the erased. And it was in this place that a child prodigy named Nico Robin first read the voices of the past. Robin didn't just study the language of the Poneglyph, she listened. Where others saw symbols, she saw sorrow, desperation, and resolve. The scholars of O'Hara had pieced together a fragment of the truth, that an ancient kingdom had been destroyed, that the Poneglyphs were messages of warning, and that the world government feared this knowledge more than anything else. Why? Because the truth would shatter everything. Professor Cloverwise Gaunt, and weary with the burden of forbidden knowledge, had uncovered the name of that lost kingdom. He stood ready to reveal it to the world. Or at least to the 5 cloaked shadows watching through a den mushi from Morajois. He stood before the elders, the Gorose, and spoke with a calm voice, one shaped not by rebellion, but by reason. The world was once ruled not by tyranny, Clover had said, but by understanding. That kingdom stood as a beacon of progress, and it was destroyed not because of evil, but because it threatened the power structure. These 20 kings sought to preserve. Before he could utter the kingdom's name, he was silenced. A bullet, no trial, no negotiation, just cold execution. Moments later, a weapon of impossible power rained down from the heavens. The Buster Kala, fleet of battleships surrounding an island and unleashing hell, was not merely retribution, it was the hand of a god swatting a mosquito. An island wiped clean in an hour, the Tree of Knowledge burned, the scholars perished, but not before they acted. Before the flames reached the deepest chamber, they entrusted their final hope to a child, a girl deemed a demon by the world. Robin fled with the last of the blueprints to the past etched into her memory. The world government had crushed the scholars, but they had failed to stop the story, because the story had already begun to move again, the Poneglyph's mysterious black stones unbreakable by any means. Carved in an ancient tongue were scattered across the world by the survivors of the Great War, not just as warnings, but as pieces of a map, not a map of geography, but of meaning. When brought together, these glyphs would tell the tale of the Void Century, the rise of the ancient kingdom, the war, and the birth of the current world order. 3 of these stones spoke of something darker still: Pluton, Poseidon, and Uranus, weapons of such immense power that they could wipe islands from the map, command sea kings, or shake the very heavens. But the truth is more complicated than weapons of war. They weren't created for destruction. They were created as a failsafe. Poseidon, born not as a machine, but as a mermaid princess with the power to command the sea kings, was not a tool of battle but a protector of balance. Pluton, hidden beneath Alabasta, or perhaps Wano, was not just a battleship hit, was the ark of a civilization, capable of moving entire nations. Uranus remained the greatest mystery, perhaps hidden in the sky, perhaps tied to the moon. But one thing was clear: these weapons were misunderstood, just like Joy Boy. And at the center of this swirling conspiracy was the Red Line, the massive continent that split the world in half, a wall that divided the seas, choked trade, and made war easier to control. But what if it wasn't always there? Some ancient maps, those few that survived, depicted a world without the Red Line, with only one sea, a time when the seas flowed freely and Fishman Island existed on the surface. The Red Line may not be a natural formation at all. It could be a construct, a monument to control, created by the 20 kings to ensure that no one could ever unite the seas again. The all-blue sea, where every kind of fish could swim, might not be a legend, but a memory. A memory of the world before the Void Century,